Ursula is usually remembered as loud, theatrical, and almost cartoonishly evil. A giant sea witch with tentacles, dark magic, and a love for manipulation. In most conversations, she is reduced to one idea: a villain who steals voices and tries to steal a kingdom.
Your Majesty.
But when you slow the story down and actually analyze her actions, motivations, and history, Ursula becomes something far more unsettling.
Life's full of tough choices, isn't it?
She is not chaotic, she is not impulsive, she is patient, intelligent, and deeply aware of how people break. And that makes her one of Disney's most dangerous villains. Ursula does not live in a castle or command an army. She lives in exile, surrounded by wreckage, bones, and forgotten things. Her lair is not random chaos, it is organized, intentional, and functional. Everything in it exists for one purpose: control. The contracts, the spellbooks, the potions, and the trapped voices all suggest long-term planning.
I always was a girl with an eye for a bargain.
Ursula is not experimenting. She has perfected her system. She does not rush. She waits for people to come to her. That patience alone separates her from many other Disney villains. One of the most famous fan theories suggests that Ursula was once part of King Triton's inner circle, possibly even his sister. This theory exists because Ursula knows royal magic far too well for an outsider. She understands the Trident, she understands how Triton rules, and she speaks about power as if she once had access to it. In this interpretation, Ursula was not banished because she was evil, but because she was dangerous to the balance of power. Her exile was political, not moral, and political exile creates resentment that never fades. Ursula was not the only sea witch banished to the dark corners of the ocean. She had a sister, Morgana, and while Ursula became a legend, Morgana became something far more dangerous: a survivor. Morgana appears in The Little Mermaid II, living in isolation after Ursula's defeat. Unlike Ursula, Morgana does not crave the spotlight or dramatic domination.
I bet Ursula could have done it.
What was that?
Her power is quieter, colder, and fueled by resentment rather than ambition. She lives in her sister's shadow, constantly measuring herself against Ursula's legacy. What makes Morgana fascinating is that she confirms many long-standing fan theories about Ursula. If Morgana exists, then Ursula was never a random outcast. She was part of a family of powerful sea witches, possibly tied to the royal bloodline. Morgana's knowledge of dark magic, royal history, and Triton's world suggests that both sisters were once deeply connected to the structure of the ocean itself. However, where Ursula was theatrical and manipulative, Morgana is bitter and obsessive. She doesn't want to rule the sea, she wants revenge. Her primary motivation is not power, but validation. She wants to prove that Ursula was not special, and that Triton's world can still be broken. Morgana's obsession with Ariel's daughter, Melody, mirrors Ursula's fixation on Ariel. This repetition is important. It suggests a cycle, a family feud that never ended, only changed targets. Morgana doesn't just hate Triton's family, she hates what they represent: a world that rejected her and her sister.
Oh, how dear Ursula would have adored this!
In many ways, Morgana represents what Ursula could have become if she had lived longer. Stripped of charm, stripped of hope, driven only by anger. She is not misunderstood in the same way Ursula is. Morgana knows she is cruel, and she embraces it. Her existence confirms one final truth: Ursula's story didn't end with her death. It echoed through her bloodline, leaving scars that the ocean never truly healed. Ursula's bitterness is not abstract, it is focused. She does not hate everyone equally. She hates authority, she hates Triton, and she hates the system that removed her. Instead of attacking it directly, she does something far more effective. She undermines it. She preys on those crushed by that system. She profits from its failures. In that sense, Ursula is not separate from the Sea Kingdom. She is its shadow. Ursula does not randomly select Ariel. She observes her. Ariel is young, curious, emotionally isolated, and constantly punished for asking questions. She does not feel heard by her father. She does not feel free. Ursula sees this immediately. She understands that desperation creates leverage. She does not need to force Ariel into a deal. She lets Ariel believe the decision is hers. That illusion of choice is central to Ursula's power. Ursula's deals are not illegal, they are cruel. She explains the terms, she outlines the consequences.
Have we got a deal?
She even warns Ariel about the risks. But Ursula understands something critical. Desperate people do not listen. They hear what they want to hear. The contract is not a trick, it is a psychological trap. Ursula weaponizes hope. She sells dreams with interest rates no one can afford. The trapped voices in Ursula's lair are one of the darkest details in the movie. Each voice represents a failed deal, a broken person, a moment of desperation turned permanent. Ursula does not free them. She keeps them. They are trophies, proof of dominance, and proof that her system was never meant to be fair. Ursula's plan unfolds in stages. She isolates Ariel by removing her voice. She ensures Ariel cannot explain herself. She sabotages her chances of success. She uses disguise to manipulate events from within. Every move is calculated. Every setback is anticipated. This is not luck. It is experience. Ariel is not Ursula's first victim. She is simply the one we see. Her first major role in the movie is as an observer. She learns of Ariel's fascination with the human world long before Triton realizes how serious it has become. This is important because it shows that Ursula doesn't create Ariel's desire. She exploits it. Ariel is already unhappy, already curious, already rebellious. Ursula simply positions herself as the solution. Ursula's most significant action is the deal she offers Ariel. On the surface, it looks fair. Ariel gets legs and a chance at love in exchange for her voice. But in reality, the deal is carefully designed to fail. Ursula knows how difficult it would be for Ariel to succeed without her voice, especially in a human world where communication is everything. The contract is filled with conditions and limitations, turning Ariel's dream into a trap. While Ariel is on land, Ursula does not wait passively. She actively interferes by transforming herself into Vanessa, a human disguise that allows her to manipulate Prince Eric directly. This moment is crucial because it proves Ursula is not just reacting, she is controlling both sides of the conflict. She sabotages Ariel's chance at love while pretending to help her. When the deal inevitably collapses, Ursula finally reveals her true goal: power. She uses the broken contract to claim Ariel's soul, adding her to the collection of trapped merfolk she already possesses. This confirms that Ariel was never the real target. King Triton was. Ursula forces Triton into an impossible choice, manipulating him into sacrificing himself for his daughter. The moment she takes Triton's trident and crown, everything becomes clear. Ursula was never just a sea witch living on the outskirts of the kingdom. She was waiting for the exact opportunity to overthrow Triton and seize control of the ocean itself.
Say goodbye to your sweetheart.
Her final transformation into a massive, godlike sea monster is not just about destruction. It represents absolute power without restraint, storms, lightning, and chaos replacing Triton's order. Even in defeat, Ursula proves how close she came to total victory, losing not because of a flaw in her plan, but because of an unpredictable human intervention. Ursula does not want chaos. She wants legitimacy. The trident represents authority, not just strength. With it, she would not need manipulation. She could rule openly, but when she gains it, she changes. She grows larger, louder, less precise. The moment she abandons manipulation for force, she begins to fail. Another popular theory suggests Ursula does not create corruption, she feeds on it. Triton rules through fear. Curiosity is punished. Emotion is suppressed. This creates vulnerable individuals. Without them, Ursula has no power. She is not the disease. She is the symptom. But symptoms can still be deadly. Ursula is fully aware of the harm she causes. She enjoys control. She profits from suffering. Context explains her origin. It does not excuse her actions. Ursula chooses exploitation every time. That choice defines her. Rather than being born evil, Ursula may have once been part of the royal family, possibly even helping to rule the ocean alongside Triton. However, where Triton represents strict law and tradition, Ursula represents ambition, change, and individual freedom. Her banishment could be the result of a power struggle, not a moral one. This interpretation reframes Ursula's actions. Her deals with merfolk may not be purely predatory. They may be the only way she can reclaim influence in a system that has completely shut her out. She offers others a chance to break free from the rigid rules of Triton's kingdom, even if the price is high. Ursula also targets Ariel not just because she is vulnerable, but because she represents everything Triton values most. By corrupting Triton's daughter, Ursula strikes at him emotionally and politically. Ariel becomes both a pawn and a symbol. However, being misunderstood does not make Ursula innocent. She is manipulative, cruel, and fully aware of the harm she causes. The difference is that her cruelty may be learned, not inherent. She operates in a world where power is everything, and she has already lost once. In this light, Ursula becomes less of a monster and more of a fallen royal, someone who was denied power, stripped of status, and forced to survive on the margins. Her villainy is not random chaos, but a calculated response to exile and resentment. Ursula may be evil, but she is not meaningless evil. She is the product of a broken system, unfinished history, and a rivalry that was never resolved. Ursula is not a monster because of her appearance. She is a monster because of her precision. She understands weakness better than any other Disney villain. She waits, she listens, she strikes when people are most vulnerable, and that makes her terrifyingly realistic. So what do you think? Is Ursula pure evil or the inevitable result of a broken system? Let us know which Disney villain should be next: Scar, Jafar, Hades, or someone even darker.